Hello, my name is Seymour Kazimirski. This is a show called Seymour's World. We've had two shows now, one in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which was last week, and the one before, which was here with Jay Fidel. This is part of the Think Tech Hawaii program. I have to tell you that last week's show in Florida was amazing. I didn't know how many people would view it, but we've had already 624 viewers comment on fitness, nutrition, using a foam roller as part of their exercise program. So it really has worked very, very well for us. Thank you for all your comments. Those of you, as I mentioned before in the last program, if you send me anything negative, I won't read it. But in any case, we have a wonderful, wonderful program today. I have my friend Jimmy Borges, who I have known for 40 years. I think
my hair was black when I first met you.
I think
yes.
You're right. The most distinguished musician here in the state of Hawaii. When I had the New York Deli, I'll give you a little brief introduction. When I had the New York Deli in 1976, we were open 24 hours a day. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, people like Jimmy would come down to the deli after their gigs, and of course they'd be hungry and they want to have a good time because they've had a successful performance, and the New York Deli was the place to be. So we had Don Ho
and Dick Jensen.
Oh my God, we had everybody.
Everybody who was anybody in Waikiki. We always came straight to your place. You know, it was like being in New York.
It was absolutely amazing. I thought, Jimmy, that time of introduction for me to you and all the other musicians gave me a foothold in the music business here in Hawaii.
You know what? It was a seminal time. It was a very important time, I think, for what was happening in Hawaii, but the timing of you putting your business out there, us getting together, you getting to know the community through our eyes, and us getting to know the community through your eyes as a newcomer. And so it was a nice blend. It really worked out very well. Well, look, you're here.
We had some wonderful times at 2 o'clock in the morning, to the point where I remember, or actually I don't remember what happened at 6 o'clock in the morning, but it was just fantastic. Jimmy has a career that spans, I don't know how many decades, Jimmy, but...
Well, this is my 59th year as a professional singer. So it's
That's amazing, amazing. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about how you started in the business? What was it like as a child in Hawaii, beginning a musical career?
Well, Hawaii was really like part two. I started off in San Francisco, and I worked with people like, when I was going to college, Johnny Mathis and Cal Jader and Paul Desmond. All these different people influenced me in the jazz world. And I would go to little jazz clubs, sit in, and look for work that way. And most of the times, nothing would happen, but every once in a while, I'd get a job. And that's how it started, you know. And I got better at my craft as I started to do that, because I was learning my craft, whether they hired me or didn't hire me. Everything I did in the public was a learning process. That's what they don't have now.
I find, Jimmy, that what you're talking about right now is something that I work with my mentoring kids. Mm-hmm. That can-do, will-do attitude. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to be successful. And I see that in your career, because I've known you for so many years. And I know you've had many ups and downs in your career.
Oh, yeah.
We all have. A matter of fact, in my talk with Jay a couple of weeks ago, I'm not ashamed to say that I went bankrupt. I had a difficult time in certain businesses, but I always was able to pick myself up. Were you in that same boat?
I never allowed myself. I was fortunate enough. I don't like the word luck, because luck is just a euphemism for being aggressive in what you want. If you're able to see the golden ring and grab it, you're not lucky. You're smart, or you have your attitude about how you're attacking life is different. And that's what I would do. I would attack life. If something wasn't happening, I would go out to clubs, and I'd go to a guy and say, look, let me sit in and sing for you for a while. I would sit in and sing. People would clap and applaud, and they would like me. And then I'd go up to the boss and say, let me try this. Let me sing for you for a week for free. And then you check the tapes. If you're making $2,000 now during that period of time that I come in, and you make $3,000 when I'm there, you take out your costs, and then you give me half and you get half. What about that? You can't lose, and I win.
Talk about a win-win situation. Yeah. That's excellent.
And then the guy said, oh, sure, man. So I went in, and I remember the Miyako Hotel. I did that, and I wound up with a 1.5-year contract. I got to the point where the contract, they said, I'll just give you $2,500 a week. $2,500 a week in 1968 was pretty good. That's closer to about $10,000 a week now. Mm-hmm. And I created that job. It didn't exist by saying, I'll do something for you for free for 2 weeks. And you show me your tapes, and you take out your costs, and then we split the profit.
To all of my mentoring students and to everybody that I work with as a client, that's probably the best lesson that you could ever learn. You've got to be willing to take a chance.
Yeah, and you have to put something up. You put your talent up. If you got a talent, you put it up for sale. And you say, this is what I got for you, and this is what I can do for you. Let's prove it. Let's put it on the line. And you prove it. And I proved it. If it doesn't work, who loses, Says, okay, got to try again. I got to refine this. When I came back to Hawaii to work, I was doing all the stuff that was successful for me in San Francisco and New York and all that. I'm singing all the kind of songs I want. I'm singing The Shadow of Your Smile en français, like Quand j'ai vu le sourire de mon amour. I'm doing that in Hawaii. So I'm in Kalihi, I'm singing Quand j'ai vu le sourire de mon amour. Now, the local guys are going,
what the hell is he talking about?
They're looking at me going, they're wondering, this guy's Borges, we know the name. We know the name from the guys down the street. How come he's singing in French? The Bhagawan Hawaiian. And so I didn't change. I did not change for the venue. That's what I had to learn. When in Rome.
Yeah.
So when I came back to Hawaii, I had to bring things down, the sophistication that I tried to use, that I had learned in New York and San Francisco, was a little bit too subtle. I needed to do something different. So I did. I changed my approach in Hawaii, and it worked. But it took a while, so I wasn't making it. First year was tough. I remember asking Don Ho, this is really funny. I'll go up to Don Ho and ask him, Don, the same stuff I was doing in New York, in San Francisco, I killed him with that in New York. Nothing. Nobody's coming to see me. Nobody. And I'm dying. And he goes, puts his head on his head. Hey, Jimmy, I tell you what. You do what you do. You keep doing what you're doing. If they like you, you stay. If they don't like you, you go back to San Francisco.
That sounded like
his wisdom. I mean, that was his wisdom. But that was really true.
That's a Godfather moment.
Yeah.
Where somebody tells you something that you need reinforcement on,
yeah.
And we all need that.
And that's what I just said. You do what you do. But the thing that he told me was important is you be yourself.
Right.
That's what it was all about.
We're going to be talking about Jimmy's current situation, how he has survived cancer, how he's helping me with our Make Him Smile program. But I do want to help the people who are not Hawaii citizens, who don't know you. Everybody in Hawaii knows him, by the way. We just had lunch upstairs. And wouldn't you believe it, I couldn't eat lunch because there were people just stopping, hi Jimmy, hello, and talking story with him.
You live long enough, people know you.
Well, I felt like I didn't know anybody, but let's face it, he's older than me. You're what, 48 now, Jimmy?
Yeah, right. 78 and a half.
78 and a half. God bless you. Jimmy has been coming to our house for our Passover dinners, for our Thanksgiving dinners, and our Hanukkah celebrations for the last 30 years. We actually married.
I'm a landsman.
I know, you're a landsman. And we actually got married within a month of each other, if you recall. We were at the Trappers Club at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. Sue and I were there, and you and Vicky were there. And I said to you, this is the girl that I'm going to marry. And you turned around and
she had the gorgeous legs and tush.
That's my wife. Still the same, hasn't changed yet.
Nice punum.
Yes, that's my punum. But that's part of our history together.
Yeah.
But for people who are on the mainland, Jimmy, what is it like here as a musician? We talked about it a little bit. We want to help younger musicians. What do they need to do?
Right now it's hard. Right now it's very, very difficult. The owners have not put a premium on entertainment, even though they want it. Entertainment is secondary or tertiary in their thinking process. There's more music makers out there than there are jobs.
Venues.
So they know that they have the edge. So when somebody comes in, if they want something like that, they can offer them $50 or something like that, and they'll take it. When I started my group at the Trappers over there, the kind of money I was making was $2,500 a week, just like I did before. My musicians were making, I was about $600 per band. We were doing 6 nights a week, $600 per band. But that's like double with everything. I not only did that, I had that for my musicians, I had paid vacations for them. That's unheard of. I had paid vacations. I had all the insurance taken out and all that. I was there for 10 years.
And that's not available anymore?
Not even close. You don't have any opportunity. So the opportunities come. There's major stars, let's say like Willie Kay or Amy or what have you. There's a kid named John Valentine that maybe a lot of people don't know, but he's probably the most heavily recruited musician singer in Hawaii. He sings 3 or 4 shows a day, but he's self-contained. He has a guitar, sings beautifully, very handsome. He's great. The guy's great, and you just you want him, you just call and he'll be there in 25 minutes. He can be, and he'll give you a great show. That kind of thing is available, but there's not everybody who can do that. And not only that, it's just the people don't want, the owners don't want to put out that kind of money. They really just don't want to put out the money. Melvin Lead, a legend in Hawaii, a legend, was working at the International Marketplace at the food court, making a modicum of the salary, and also being money was being added to it through tips.
Yeah.
And all that.
So it is difficult, but it's not, I'm not trying to say you're wrong, but I'm a very positive guy, as you well know, and my attitude has always been that if there is a will, there is a way. And there must be a way for us to look at the future and say we are going to help these musicians, because so many of them are with our program at Make 'Em Smile that I feel I owe them something. I owe them something to try to get them to the next level, to maybe make 'em smile, some type of a venue where they could be seen and heard by many people. And you have weddings, and you have luau's, and you have,
there's a big market.
There's a big, huge market, and I think that's something we're going to have to work on.
The weddings, most of it, it's been spoken for by agents and all that. So some people they've already got the Japanese couples before they come in from Japan. By the time they land here, they're spoken for. So everybody's taken care of, and they'll handle maybe 10 to 15 weddings a day.
Well, it's something we're going to have to look at.
But there's something that can happen. But everybody will have to get together and talk it over and see How do we move in this direction? How do we move as a team in this direction? You can't go helter-skelter by this person, that person, this person.
Right.
Everybody has to team up to make it work.
Well, we're going to take a short break. I'm with Jimmy Borges, the most famous entertainer, musician, singer in the state of Hawaii. As far as I'm concerned, there's nobody like him in the world, honestly. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in a minute. Thank you.
Aloha, I'm Nicole Horry for ThinkTech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Horry. Mahalo.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel for ThinkTech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaiian Foreign Trade Zone, No. 9, has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBED, the Hawaii Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program. It does so to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Jay Fidel of ThinkTech. Mahalo.
Hello, we're back at Seymour's World here in Honolulu this week. We're with Jimmy Borges, and we are going to talk about his battle with cancer. But before we do that, I want Jimmy to just look at some pictures that we've accumulated over the years and hopefully describe who the people are in there, if you still remember them, Jimmy. I don't know. Go ahead.
There's Jim Neighbors and myself, one of my dear buddies. I love that man completely. He's a great talent, and he was very helpful for me during my cancer. And that's Robert Kazimirski and Amy, two of the greatest singers in Hawaii.
Right.
And there's Bobby Kazimirski. I love him. He's going to teach me. One of my bucket wishes is to dance a hula.
Okay.
Really, one dance to prove my Hawaiianness. And he's going to teach me. And there's a lady who completely restructured Bloody Mary in South Pacific. That's Loretta Oblas. She's a great singer, and that's her husband, David Sayre. And that's myself singing. I think we're at the zoo.
Where is that, Jimmy?
That's at the zoo.
Yeah.
And that's Gabe Baltazar, one of Hawaii's greatest musicians. Brilliant musician.
Oh my gosh.
That's me, when I first got started in San Francisco, Forbidden City. I was 22. Oh my goodness. And that's me in a traveling little show with my wife. She's the one on the far right of the picture. My daughter, who traveled with us, and it was an Asian type theme show. It was called Oriental Dolls.
Oh, look at that.
That's me somewhere.
You don't look different, Jimmy. You're the same guy. Look at that.
That's about
20 years ago?
20, yeah. At least 20 years ago.
You don't look any different. Oh my God.
That's me and Jack Lord.
Yeah,
and
that's a Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah, and we were doing a 5-0. I was the head of a drug clinic at that time, playing the head of a drug clinic. And that's me singing at the age of 22, Forbidden City. And that's when Tony Bennett came and sang with me for 2 hours on my closing night at the Trappers at the Hyatt.
Well, Jimmy, we have too many other thoughts to go through today, so that's the last picture I'm giving you. Well, I'm sure they're great memories.
Thank you with Tony Bennett. Yeah,
it's absolutely amazing. And not only Tony Bennett, but you had a very wonderful relationship with Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra? Yeah, he gave me his... I'm the only guy that he opened up his library to. I'm so honored.
The only guy?
I'm the only one that he opened up his complete library of 2,000 songs. He said, let the kid have what he wants. The kid! I love it. I was 20 years younger than Mr. Sinatra.
Wow. So, Jimmy, let's get into a part of your life. Obviously, music has been everything to you. But a few years ago, you had stage 4 cancer.
Yeah.
That Sue and I were deathly afraid that you were not going to be around, obviously.
Yeah.
What happened? Tell us about it.
Well, I was coughing, and Vicky said, check out that cough, it sounds terrible. And I hated it, so about a week later, I says, okay, yeah, I will. So they gave me a chest x-ray, and the chest x-ray right at the bottom showed a little dot. And he said, because we see something here that we're just going to double check on it. So the next day I went in for, I think it was a CAT scan or MRI, I'm not sure what they call it. And when the doctor came in, I said, look, Doc, I've been having bad news. All I get is bad stuff from you guys. Tell me something nice. Tell me something good. And I'm talking like I'm New York. I'm a New York Jew, right? Tell me something good. Okay, tell me. He said, Mr. Borges, you have cancer. And that was the scariest words I ever heard. And you know the first word that came to my mind was, me? Me was the first word. I have cancer? I've had a perfect life. I've been here, I've been there, everything's been perfect. I got the perfect wife, I got the perfect daughter. I have cancer? Once I realized that I had to deal with that, and then I talked to my wife, and we had to go through all those processes of absorbing the fact that the kind of cancer that I had, then he told me that it was the size of a football, and that if I didn't shrink it, I was going to die. And they had to shrink it before they could even try to get it out. And at my age, at that time, I was 76, getting it out was not so good. I'll give you an example. The best prognosis I gave, is that the right word? Was 5% chance of living. 3 doctors gave me no chance. They said I'd die on the table. And a few doctors didn't want to do me because they didn't want to kill Jimmy Borges. Whatever. It was bad PR, right? So that's really what it was. So. But anyway, got right down. And yet, at one point, right at that point, I realized, I said, you know what? I prayed and I said, I want to handle this. My prayers weren't so much to get well. I said, let me handle this as well as I can. And I said, I talked to my God. You know, he's not a Catholic. I'm a Catholic, but it wasn't a Catholic God. It's my God. He's the guy I talked to. And I said, you know what? I haven't been cheated. I've had 76 years. Look at the great life that I've had. I have not been cheated. So if I have to go, it's okay. I'm okay. I hope not, because I have a wife and daughter who love me. So I don't want to leave for their sake. But if I have to go, I'm okay. By doing that, I really believe I set things in motion. In my body had no fear. I didn't have the fear of dying. I'm sure my body reacted to that because the doctor told me. He said, there's a lot of things we don't know about these kind of things. He says, and he was from MD Anderson and Sloan Kettering, you know, the best. And he says, there's things we don't know, but you and your attitude, we believe, is the difference of you being alive and not alive. The fact that you're here is your attitude toward what was happening. I was out of the hospital in 10 days instead of 18 days. I was walking in 6 days. I was eating in 3 days. All of that was unheard of for the kind of cancer I had. I had a football-sized cancer in my liver. A football-sized cancer. The only thing I'm sorry is that I don't have a video of that. Or I wish I had the whole thing. I could put plastic around and carry it around my neck.
I don't think I want to see that video, Jimmy. That's didn't you tell me they had to put a jack up to between your ribs and everything?
Because of where I was in the right lobe of my liver, and the liver is your biggest organ there. they had to take everything out, all of my innards. I didn't realize this.
Jimmy, we're going to lose our audience, you know.
Well, but you know, but this is what's true when it goes in. And this is what happens to anybody that goes in for those kind of operations. They take everything out and they lay it on the table. It's still connected to you, but it's laid on the table. Then they put a jack. They had to put a jack in there and to get my rib high enough so that they could go into the liver and then cut it because it's right near other organs. And all of that. And the thing, if you don't die from the operation, there's got to be a lot of bugs out there just waiting for something to happen, because a lot of, like 1/3 of all the stuff that happens in hospitals
Infections.
comes from infection. I got through all of that. I got through all of that perfect. I was perfect. I had a perfect scar. I had a perfect everything. So I'm 2.5 years away from that, and it's all gravy.
So now, now that this part is over, you have a totally different perspective on life. We've talked about that many times. We both feel that giving back to...
Oh, it's so necessary.
It's a very necessary part.
It's a mandate.
Right. And I think it's something that we're going to talk about a little bit later in the program, where having a instance where your life becomes so precious, you start to realize that what you have is really not that important. There's a saying that I want to read to you. You can't keep what you have unless you give it away. And very honestly, if you really think about that, you realize that if we can give away some of what we have, that will make us so much better. It'll make us feel like a different person.
That's what happened to me.
I think so.
Exactly.
I see it in the last few years with you. You remember my mother very well.
Of course, I love her.
And she was a woman who gave back a tremendous amount to her music students, to her the Kazimirski choir, to the Holocaust Studies program that she had. An amazing woman. But she lived until she was 85, and not 10 minutes before she died, she was thinking about what to do for somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's where we come from.
That's really what the whole thing is all about. Everything that I've learned, I've got this font of information in me from all the years that I've done what I've done. It must be recycled. That's what I call it. I have to recycle my information. I have to recycle Jimmy Borges so that everything I've ever done, I've ever learned in my life that was positive and negative, you can learn from the negative, as you know, is what I want to give back. And so that's why I read at schools and talk to university students or what have you, just like you do. You know? I just, whatever, you know, I'm there.
So the lesson we learn from the tragedy of having cancer is probably the best lesson we'll ever learn in our life.
I have looked at cancer. This might sound corny, but it's not corny. It's a gift. It's been a gift. Excuse me if it's been a gift to me because it put my life in perspective. I have a brand new life. I have a second life that is absolutely exciting. I found out also that it's okay to do nothing. I found out it's okay to the bottom line is sharing my information. I have information that I must share. I must. So I have an awful lot of young people that I talk to. And it doesn't matter what age, but I do. Just call me. There's no charge, you know, because I have information that will cut your journey in half if you care. All you have to do is care.
I think for those of you who don't know Jimmy Borges, you are listening to a man whose purpose in life has been redefined. And it's a wonderful, wonderful method of living your life. I've just started the same journey as you, Jimmy. I have not had cancer, and knock wood, I haven't had any health problems. Thank you, that's the wood that you just knocked. I have 2 artificial knees, but no wood. It really is something. I tell a lot of the people that I consult with, that I mentor, that giving back in any which way that you can, even if it's talking to somebody or listening to somebody, becomes a very, very important part of our life. And if we do that, you will win much, much more than they will win. It is an amazing, amazing time frame. We're going to go to break in a minute, but before we go to break, Jimmy, you mentioned something to me about appreciate the moment. The moment that you have now, the moment that you're in now, how do you compare it to where you were when you were in the middle of your career and you were going all over the place and doing stuff all over the world?
Well, you know what? I've talked about this to other people. There's no, you can't compare it. But if you want to ask me what I would prefer and where I would prefer to be, nothing. I've had some really great moments. You better believe it. In many ways and in every way in my life. As a youngster, in my 20s, my 30s, 40s, 50s, I would not trade this moment for anything. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to any one of them. I love where I'm at. I love the Jimmy Borges. That's here. You know, with warts and all. The wrinkled skin, the 78-year-old guy, you know. The hair that's a little bit thinner than it used to be. It's okay. I talk about it. I can laugh about it. But if you really want to get me, he said, come on, I'll put you back. I can make you 35 again. No way. I do not want to be that. I want to be a 78-and-a-half-year-old Jimmy Borges right now because I have so much information. I worked really, really hard to learn all this stuff. Do you think I want to give it up? Ain't no way. You know, all the things I've gone through, I am not going to give that up. That was hard work.
We're going to be back with Jimmy Borges in a minute from now, and we're going to talk about some of the programs that he works with to help children, to help music students, to help people in general. Thank you very much.
We want to thank our underwriters. Hawaiian Electric Company and its affiliates Maui Electric on Maui and Hawaii Electric Light Company on Hawaii Island are deeply committed to the communities they serve. Galen Ho is a senior executive of BAE Systems, a global defense, security, and aerospace company. The High-Tech Development Corporation, the state's leading technology agency, attached to the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism. Castle and Cook Hawaii, with a time-honored legacy that spans more than 160 years and revolves around its mission of investing in Hawaii, creating communities, and providing for the needs of our state. Hawaii Gas, formerly the Gas Company, a proponent of the Liquefied Natural Gas Initiative, helping Hawaii achieve its transition to clean energy and a better energy future. Collateral Analytics, a Hawaii-based tech company empowering the real estate industry with greater and faster access to the tools and data they need to make better informed property investment decisions. I'm Nicole Horry. Thanks so much for joining us on Think Tech. I'm Maria Kashen. See you next time.
Welcome back to Seymour's World and Jimmy Borges. It has been a wonderful few minutes with Jimmy because he's so inspirational, and I just feel that we could all learn so much from everything that he has done. We want to end the program with a recognition of some of the programs that Jimmy works with, and one of them is with me. It's called the Make 'em Smile program. Jimmy is wearing a button from Make 'em Smile, and oh, there you go, you can see it. And it's a program we have at the hospitals here in Hawaii. It's at Kaiser Hospital, Shriners, Kapiolani Children's Hospital. And it is something that I went to Jimmy with about 8 months ago. And I said, Jimmy, I want to do something with musicians here in Hawaii because I really believe that music is healing. And one of the issues with Jimmy's cancer was I always felt that his attitude about music and giving back to the community was one of the reasons that he was able to survive. I know this is not medical knowledge, but it's just a theory that I have, and I've seen it so many times before. Positive attitudes, the will do, can do, it is what makes us tick. So Make 'em Smile came to me and I said, Jimmy, could we get some musicians who would go to the hospital and play for the kids? And he said, why not? So we invited Leah Bernstein from Mountain Apple Records. And Leah came on board and she said, why not too? We assembled a bunch of musicians, started at Kapilani Children's Hospital. The first day we did it, the three of us, four of us, Sue was there, my wife was there too, we all cried. To see what we could do to just play some music and help these kids smile, to see how they will forget about what's bothering them, to see a parent who is absolutely worried about their child at that moment, all of a sudden break into a smile, their foot starts tapping, their head starts shaking, they start moving to the music. There's nothing like it in the world. We found something in such a simple, it's just a very, very simple music program that I think is changing a lot of how the healing process works in hospitals today.
It does.
What do you think, Jimmy?
I saw the difference that it made when the children realized that they were the stars. They were the star of that moment. All of a sudden, they weren't being taken care of and washed and doing all this different lavender, all these medication put in tubes. All of a sudden, people were coming there and looking at them and smiling and shaking their hand and singing songs to them, songs that they could request. And those moments were important for them to realize that I'm somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm somebody. That is what's important, to realize that I'm okay, I'm somebody. I'm important enough to have these people come and sing for me. Because the things that made me cry, and it's going to make me cry now, is when I see the mothers in bed with their children, holding them like they did when they were kids, were babies, you know. This is that child that came out of our womb. And that child is dying of cancer. And we're trying to keep that child alive and do whatever we can. And we've made that child smile and realize that I'm okay. This moment I'm okay, and that you carry that moment over. That moment will carry in and over and over and over, and maybe it'll be the thing that saves their lives. Maybe it's the thing that will save their life.
I have to tell you that just before today's show, I was at Kaiser Hospital because we have our Make 'em Smile program at Kaiser today. And Jimmy, you were there a couple of weeks ago for our grand opening at Kaiser. And how many people stopped me and said, is Jimmy Borges coming today? I don't mean anything. It's Jimmy Borges that they want. The mothers especially, you're right. There's such a feeling of giving back that really makes the program so worthwhile. I do want to say, if there are other musicians out there who can join us, we would love to have you. It's a very small commitment, maybe 2 hours
Please.
a month. If you want to come twice a month, it would be 4 hours. But we arrange for everything. You have nothing to do except show up and play. And I know that's a lot to do, but it's something that every musician who plays for Make 'em Smile right now will tell you it is a wonderful feeling. This is a total nonprofit. Nobody gets paid. We don't raise money for it. It's something that we want to do to give back. And Jimmy, Leah, and I really feel that it's the most worthwhile project that we could ever have. Jimmy, tell me about some of the others that you do. You also mentor young people.
I get calls from the schools, and I not only mentor the kids, but I read to them and then explain what the reading is, what the book is all about. And that's all the way from the first grade up to 6th or 7th grade, sometimes university students. I changed my approach there, and also the subject matter. The subject matter basically for me works out is to self-realization. Who you are, why you are, and why you should love yourself. I try to get everybody to look in the mirror and fall in love with yourself. The bottom line is, let me tell you this. Bottom line is, you have to love yourself. If you believe in love thy neighbor as thyself. That's common. Everybody says that. If you believe in that, then you cannot love your neighbor unless you love yourself. It's real simple. Right. The more you love yourself, the more you can love your neighbor. So you have to look in the mirror and realize that this is a mandate. This is important. This is something that has to be done. So, and this is what I talk about in different ways, different avenues, and different. But I talk to the young people about that, and I also talk to university students and realize that where they're going, they have to come out and look at that mirror and says, I'm okay. I'm okay. When you start thinking that way, then you will not find the barriers you thought were there are not there.
We've been listening to Jimmy Borges reflecting on his life and what he's doing today to make a better life for many other people in this world. Doing a great job, Jimmy. One thing that we did survive together, we both didn't cry. We talked about that. We're going to cry because when we first went to the Make 'Em Smile concert at Kapiolani, it was just, I mean, my wife and you and Leah and myself, we just couldn't help it. I mean, we were like babies watching, these kids just stare, their eyes looking at the ukuleles and the guitars.
They're so thrilled,
amazing thing. Amazing.
They were thrilled.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in another minute. This is Seymour's World with Jimmy Borges.
Aloha. I'm Nicole Horry for ThinkTech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Horry. Mahalo.
Hi, this is Seymour with Seymour's World. My guest today is Jimmy Borges. We've had a fabulous time here today, just reflecting on our lives and what we're doing today. I think one of the things we have to discuss, Jimmy, we only have a few more minutes, what kind of reaction are you getting from all of this new mentoring that you're doing, the Make 'Em Smile program?
It just goes on and on ad infinitum. I get letters from the kids in school. I remember, and the minute, I keep it by my bedside, so that when I start feeling sorry for myself because, it was a rough day, I read these letters, and there's one letter that's my favorite. It says, Mr. Borges, you told me that I'm prettier than I thought I was, and to look in the mirror that if you were my age, that you would probably chase me around. And so she actually wrote that. And she wrote, and she said, I look in the mirror and I realized I'm not too bad. I'm not so bad. And I feel better about myself. And she said, I wish you were my grandfather. I wish you could be there all the time so I could talk to you all the time. And that just kills the minute she says that.
What a compliment.
Yeah. And these are pure, honest words from young kids, in their first, second, third, fourth grade and stuff like that. And then the university students, a lot of them wanted to know mostly about how I maneuvered through my career, because that's what they were heading off for and maneuvering through it. And I just told them all the stories. I said, I never ever thought I would ever fail. It never occurred to me that I would fail. Never occurred to me. Anything that happened to me, speed bump. It's only a speed bump. I always got up, brushed myself off, start all over again. Failure was never in the equation.
Don't you feel, Jimmy, that people like yourself with that positive attitude surround yourself with other positive people? I'm just thinking of us as friends all these 40 years, through everything that we've gone through. We have still remained friends.
And because we understand, I think, why we're here and all that. I'm one of the most successful guys that's ever lived. Why? Because I'm here. I'm here. I've done, what I set out to do? I set out to sing and to get paid. I want to sing for a living, and I want you to pay me because you like my singing so much that you're willing to pay me. That's what happened. I've done that for 59 years. I can't ask for any more than that. That is as successful as you can get. I didn't ask for, I wanted to be a big star like Frank Sinatra. I wanted to be like Tony Bennett or Judy Garland. That's not what, that wasn't my goal. My goal was to sing. My goal was to sing as good as possible, and to get paid for it. I've been doing that since I was 20.
And the big difference is you don't even look much past 40, so you've done very well.
I think a lot of that helps. But you've done the same thing. You've changed businesses. You've gone here and there. You saw what was needed, and you found and you filled it.
Yes, we are going to say thank you very much, Jimmy. It has been such an absolute pleasure.
It's a joy for me.
It has been, every time you and I sit and talk, we never have enough time because we want to talk about the past, the present, the future, how we can help children especially, how we can help the people who are in chemo, in the hospitals. It's something that we both have found a way to give back. Me because of my mother and remembering what she has done for others, and you because of your cancer. So it has been absolutely wonderful. Now let me tell you a little bit about the shows coming up. Next week we're going to be in Thailand talking to Dan Foxman. This will be about the Black Rice Project. It's a project that is, I think, going to take over the world when it comes to a nutritional supplement. It's much better than acai. Dan Foxman freeze dries it. He's got a patent on it. He's one of my clients, and I felt you should hear about it. You should understand that, and of course there has been quite a bit of controversy about nutraceuticals and what they do, but Dan's product is absolutely terrific. Then the following week, we have a survivor from the Holocaust with us. His name is Bernard Offen, and he wanted me to make his title very simple. I am a survivor of the Holocaust. He was a 12-year-old boy in Auschwitz, and he is a very good friend of mine, and we will be here with him. He actually lives in Warsaw, but he's here in Hawaii. The following week, we're going to be in St. Petersburg. We're going to be talking to Konstantin, who is an economics professor.
Not Florida.
No, Konstantin in St. Petersburg, Russia, where it's very cold. That's why he's coming here, because he can get away from the cold. And we'll be dealing with economics in Russia. And of course, with what's happening in Sochi and all these terrorist threats, whether you believe they're PR or whether you believe they're real, we will hear from Konstantin about what that is all about. So we have a tremendous program for you over the next few weeks. I hope you tune in. I hope you like what we have. And I hope Seymour's World is going to be on your agenda every week. Thank you very much.